That should probably sound better, yeah? Yeah, that probably sounds better. So I was just saying, I got Mochimon. That's it. And not so many in too many words. So okay, there we go. Yes, that is a mini. I saw some of you asking about the map that I have up during the stream. So yes, it is a map of the folder and file island, or folder continent and file island. I do have it saved. This is kind of an edited map. I took a different one, upscaled it, changed out the background a little bit to make it more coherent. But yes, I will tweet that out later for those who want it. So after the stream, just keep an eye on my tweets. I'll have that out there for those of you who want to use it for whatever nefarious purposes you may have. So all that being said, sorry about the muting. Welcome to the Pendulum Z giveaway in honor of this channel reaching 10,000 subscribers, which is a freaking phenomenal feat. I did not expect that to ever happen, and it can only happen in a community as ravenous as this one, because let me tell you, finding Digimon content is never been an easy thing for me, which is partly why I started making some too, because there are some great people out there doing some great work, but you talk about any other fandom, there's just channels for days of millions and millions of subscribers. Digimon community is small, but man, you guys are freaking great. So thank you so much for helping me get to this point. Obviously, to thank you for that. That's what this giveaway is all about, to show some appreciation for getting things this far and for making this community what it is. So before I actually announce the winner, obviously I don't want to just come on here, announce the winner, and then leave. That'd be a 3-minute stream. That'd be boring for everyone involved. So what the prompt that I gave people commenting on the video was what content ideas you would like to see me cover in the future. Different videos, whatever the topic may be, and got a lot of really good responses to that. And so I kind of want to go over a selection of some of those responses. Obviously, a lot of people suggested the exact same things as one another, so these are kind of the most suggested items that I saw. There are a few, I did read all of them, so don't worry. If you commented something, I did read your suggestions. So even if you don't see it on here, I did still look at it. I did see a few that aren't on this list that I am interested in pursuing. So just because you're not seeing it here does not mean it's not something that I won't do in the future. So we're going to go through that list. We'll put that there in the, yeah, right over there. Up in that corner, you're going to see it appear. So let's just, let's see what we got. All right. So I have number 1. This one was not super highly suggested, but it was somewhat highly suggested, and that's that I had a lot of people asking for existing content, as in stuff that I've already done. Now, that's not to say I can't ever revisit some of these things and talk about them in the future, but I've made a good number of videos over the past few years. There's a lot of content that, like, you got this guy right here, right? You got the trumpet. Yeah, there we go. See, you might not have known I did that, right? I think someone suggested definitely doing Mamemon blowing on a trumpet. That's by Ray, by the way. The animation's not by me. That animation was done by Ray. So, yeah, in case that's what you were looking for. But yes, no, I do have a lot of content out there. Some people were asking for specific devices. The brief history of Digimon V-Pets videos are all about existing devices. So if you are interested in older devices, go check those out. It's not finished yet, which we'll touch on that in a second, as you can probably imagine. I've done a few things in the card game, not a lot, but a few. And then just every modern pet, though, I have extensive videos about, from the Digital Monster version 20th through the Digimon Pendulum Z and the Vital Bracelet. I've got a lot of content about each of those. So if you are interested in any of that, there you go. And I'll touch on a few of those specifics as we go on tonight. So item number 2. Future products. Now, this one's a given, all right? So I haven't done these videos yet, right? But I will do them. If you have ever wondered, oh, is he going to do a video about such and such Digimon electronics device? The answer is almost definitely yes. I will be doing a video on it. So the Vital Bracelet B, for example, I got suggestions for that. Yes, obviously, I'm absolutely covering the Vital Bracelet B. That is happening. I will say, not covering non-LCD toys. So the D-scanner, for example, not technically an LCD toy, it's an LCD prop device, assuming it does have an LCD. I guess we don't even know that yet. But I'm not getting that, for example. But stuff that's like very clearly in the realm of Digimon V-Pets, definitely. You're always going to see videos about that. So I just did one of the Vital Hero. That was one of the suggestions. Vital Bracelet B, upcoming. All the dim cards, all that stuff, anything that we get that is virtual pet or virtual pet related will absolutely occur. Next one, brief history. Now this one, I'm very thankful to those of you that did suggest this one, because this is a series that I do very much love, and I have to put in the right amount of effort to make it good. My favorite video of that to produce so far has been the Pendulum X, not because the Pendulum X has been my favorite device, but because the amount of research that I put into that led me to learn a lot of things that I didn't know before, and I found super interesting. So the IC is next up on that list. It will happen, but because I care about it, I do want to make sure that I make it right. And that's not to say that I would make it in any kind of way that was wrong. It's just that I want to make sure that I'm in the right headspace to get it the way that people need it to be. So I'm very happy with how the videos have turned out in the past, but I want to make them better, I guess is what I'm saying. So that's my goal with that series, is to continue to make it better than what it already is. All right, so next one, video games. This was suggested a ton. I think this was the #1 suggestion as far as my as far as what kind of videos I should do. So I got a ton of requests for video games, and guess what? In case you haven't heard, I am going to be streaming my first video game on this channel ever. I've never actually done it on here. I've streamed plenty of other things, but never a video game. So Digimon Survive is being played by myself and Flurp this Saturday for 10 hours from 10 a.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be sitting around playing Digimon Survive, eating sandwiches, having a good time. So that is happening. Spoilers will abound, as will apparently crude humor, fantasy violence, language, and mild blood. So keep that in mind. So yeah, Digimon Survive will be played. A lot of people were suggesting the V-Pet games in particular, and that's what I want to say is that I don't plan on covering just any Digimon video games whatsoever. The ones that I do plan on doing future videos about will be ones related to V-Pets. So that's the version S, version WonderSwan, Digimon World 1, Redigitize, Next to Order, and Digimon Championship on the DS are the main ones that come to mind. So I will do videos on those at some point in the future. That'll be another series that I will take care of there. So yeah, Digimon video games will come. For those that aren't aware, I did actually used to do game streaming a bunch. I used to work for as a volunteer for this gaming news website, Gamnesia. Unfortunately, it's been absorbed because that's what happens to journalism websites for games. They just get absorbed into bigger journalists. So it's now part of it was part of something else, and now that's part of Destructoid. So yeah, that's just how it goes. So I used to do game streaming for them, which is a ton of fun. So it'll be neat to get back into that a little bit. All right. So the card game was the next thing that popped up. Actually, I want this slide. There we go. I want to be able to look at the good cards. So funny story is that when the card game first came out, like at the very beginning of the pandemic, no less, I was all about it. I thought it was way cool, and I got some Japanese. I got the whole Japanese first booster, all the starting decks twice, and I even made some content on that. I did a few videos on unboxing and such, and playing the game, and yeah, I had a good time with it. However, that game eventually came out in English and was super popular. The Digimon card game is way more popular than I ever expected the card game to be. And as such, there are much, much better content creators than I who are covering the card game. And the thing I've enjoyed about doing V-Pet related videos is that I feel like I'm covering something very well in an area that doesn't have a lot of coverage. Card game, I want to let people do that who are doing it better and who can actually play it. I'm not good at deck building. I'm going to tell you that right now in any card game. I've played a lot of Magic, but I never could build a deck for anything. I use pre-built decks most of the time. So yeah, I'm one of those. So I don't plan on doing many I might do a video here and there in the future. I'm not going to say never to anything. I might hook up with someone and just have a quick round or two and just show off that. But as far as any kind of in-depth card game videos, probably not. So sorry to those of you suggesting that. Next suggestion, ranking videos. So I always assumed that these were kind of like the trash of YouTube. No offense to anyone who does these, but I just looked at these and I'm like, oh, do people actually even like these? Do people care about ranking videos? And apparently a lot of you do. A lot of you suggested this. So my perception on that was apparently wrong. So thing is, though, is I don't want to just sit here and plop things on a tier list. Again, nothing against those that do. That's just not my type of content. That's not the kind of thing that I would enjoy really doing. So if I'm going to be doing tier list videos, I want to have an actual, how do I say? just my own flavor to it, I guess. Teach a little bit of history while doing tier lists. So I already have an idea of exactly how I want to do that, and I think people will enjoy it. So look out for some of those in the future as to what those will be. It's not going to just be like a basic straight up, what's my favorite Digimon or what's my favorite V-Pet. I'm putting my own little swing on it. So yes, I will definitely do those at some point in the future. My collection has been another big curiosity to people. So I do have a lot of devices. I definitely do. Digimon and non-Digimon LCD toys abound in my home. I've got 2 big cases of them in these nice little drawers that I use, which I have a picture of those here I'll show in a second. And a lot of people just kind of want to have me go down, I guess, and talk about the items that I have. And I think that would be fun. I obviously love talking about Digimon history, and these are all Digimon history. So not as an in-depth look as the actual brief history of V-Pets video, but just a more, maybe like a small series where I go over a certain number of pets each time. And I would, yeah, I think I would enjoy doing that. And hopefully you would enjoy watching it because you did suggest it. So I should hope so. All right. Then we have the Digimon Canon. Now, this is another one that I'm actually excited about. Did I not pull up a slide for this? I did not. Silly me. Digimon.net. This is one I'm actually definitely very interested in doing because I like talking about not necessarily the lore behind Digimon, but just kind of like what they really are, because that's something that gets very confusing in the world of Digimon. Because here's the thing, right, is that where's the link? I could have sworn I could get to it from here. Oh, I got to go here first. That's right. And then I got to go down here, and then there it is. Okay. So like this page right here, right? What are digital monsters? This is the kind of thing I think I would enjoy talking about because a lot of people get their Digimon experience from one specific source, right? They'll be like, okay, from the video games or from the anime. And that will be what really shapes their understanding of what Digimon are. But the funny thing is Bandai lets people kind of go nuts with how they explore the Digimon franchise. And a lot of people just, I don't know. It's very easy to think, okay, well, the way that it's portrayed in Adventure is what Digimon are, or the way it's portrayed in Tamers, or the way it's portrayed in Savers. But in reality, there really is one specific canon that everything else branches off of. And I think that would be a ton of fun to explore in a little multi-part video regarding that. And a few other of the features here. Also, if you guys don't know about this page is freaking amazing. Just go to digimon.net/about. And I know this is probably shooting myself in the foot since I said I should do a video on it, but this is a great page. And then there's also a ton of, if I go back to the fun section at the top right, yeah, Digimon profile. This is magnificent. This is just straight up like consolidating the reference book into easy to digest sections about different types of Digimon. Highly recommend reading through this. Absolutely fascinating information if you're wanting to know like the core of Digimon. So there you go. So absolutely, we'll be doing videos on that. Modding and technical stuff. So where's my modding picture? Oh, I don't have a picture for modding. There it is. Okay, I put this in the wrong order. So yeah, obviously you've seen me take apart. Well, I can't say obviously. Maybe you haven't, but I have done videos in the past where I've taken apart virtual pets and done some mods on them. For example, if you look right in the right below that big black circle, there's a little thing there labeled as JP1. By soldering that connection together, you can put this device into debug mode, this device being the Pendulum Z Wind Guardians. And I like to do specific mods like that, but there's also other types of modding. So I've done a video on that where I modded the Digital Monster X2, the XC specifically. I did do a video on that, so check that out for sure if you are interested in modding and such. But other modding ideas that people came up with, well, what if you showed off how you can create your own DIM card or doing shell swaps and such? So yeah, I think there's a few good ideas out there that can definitely be continued to expand people's modding. And as far as technical explanations goes, things like how the battles work and the connections, I would love to do a video on that. I have a whole document about that, and I would definitely love to just sit there and talk about math with you for a minute. So it's that one might not be a fully full crowd pleaser, I should say, but it is definitely something I would like to talk about in the future. All right. So then we have the future of V-Pets. Now this one brought up this comic of the XKCD phone because it always makes me laugh. Is this would be like if XKCD made a phone, here's all the features it would have. They've got a whole series on that Read that whole series. It's beautiful. But people ask what I would do if I had the ability to create a virtual pet, or or at very least what I expect to see out of future virtual pets. So I think that could be fun to explore a little bit. I definitely have thoughts about those sorts of things. And obviously, as someone this deeply into virtual pets, yes, I have thought about what I would do if I were to make my own. And I don't want to share a whole bunch about it because, that's always one of those projects in the back of your mind that you're like, might do that someday. Once I'm done with all the other things I'm working on, might do that. So I don't want to share too much about it because when you share too much, it's, I don't know. I just feel like it ruins the magic a little bit of working on it. So, yeah, so there you go. So future V-Pets, definitely something I can see myself doing content on. Then we have non-Digimon V-Pets. So this is one of those drawer systems I was telling you about where I keep all my stuff. So this is the one for non-Digimon and non-V-Pet devices. So hence why you see a few Digivices in there in addition to all the Tamagotchi, because I have one that's just for Digimon V-Pets, one for the either ors. Although some of the stuff is clearly not a virtual pet either. There's a mini game gear in there. But yeah, so I have a lot of non-Digimon V-Pets and people would like to see some videos on those. That's going to be difficult for me because, again, I like to be very thorough about these sorts of things, and I don't also want to research them heavily. So these will probably be it's probably going to be like a one-off video, basically, talking about a few of my random virtual pets that I like. I wouldn't want to make that into a series because I wouldn't really be doing it justice. But a video where I'm like, oh, here's the Mushi King, here's the Arcantus, here's the Gigapets, here's the Scanners, here's the Pox, just kind of showing off a bunch of random V-Pets. I might do one. I definitely could do a bigger one for Tamagotchi, which I kind of already did at the beginning of the Brief History of V-Pets series. So I'd have to think about what a video about Tamagotchi would be to differentiate that if I were to revisit those. Water break. Okay. Moving right along. Online and world. So I have done a video about using an ACOM to get your is that where's the actual picture? There it is. I had a zoomed in version. There it is. I had a video about setting up an ACOM to, not setting it up, but just using one to either unlock content on your device, battle with other people, and all that jazz, but I didn't really touch on it much further than that. So this also goes hand in hand with the technical information to talk about that, but one thing a lot of people were focused on with it was World, which is what you're looking at here on the screen, which is an online fan game where you connect your virtual pet through your ACOM to the computer, get your Digimon into the game, and then you can battle other people's Digimon or do little quests and stuff. It's a pretty robust little thing. I'm very thrilled with how much people did with this because when I first joined the online project, I really wasn't expecting to see anything like this. I might have been secretly hoping, but I'm like, I didn't fathom that something like this would come out of it, which is way cool, way freaking cool to see. So, yeah, very, very neat project. If you haven't seen it before, I think it would definitely be worthwhile to do a video on it. So I will definitely consider doing such in the future. All right, raising logs. So this one I already did. It's there you go. Here's a recent one. Do I have it muted? I do. Okay, good. So I did start doing raising logs at people's requests. I'm like, you know what? I can do that if I just make them shorts where I'm limited to 1 minute no matter what. Even if I wanted to make them longer, I can't. YouTube shorts can only be a minute long. So I'm like, all right, yeah, sure. Why not? I could do that. I can spare a minute or two to record and post. It's the editing that kills me. So if I don't have to do any editing, there we go. Good to go. So I'm going to continue doing those a few times, no more than 4 times a week. And also depending on if I have other videos scheduled that week that I need to, that take precedence. So yeah, so I'm going to keep doing those. Been enjoying them. For those interested in where that little guy is at right now, by the way, it's Swimmon right now with 1 poop. There you go. Say hello to Swimmon, everybody. See if I can get a good angle. Yeah, good enough. There we go. So, yeah. They've been enjoyable. I've been trying to make them at least somewhat interesting. Hopefully I've been succeeding. I still think that I'm not great at vlogging per se, but if they're less than a minute long, it's like, yeah, I can handle that, whatever. Then we got Digivices. So I'm not gonna lie to you, don't care for Digivices too much. I have a lot of nostalgia associated with them. I had a bunch of them as a kid, sold 3 of them, bought one of them off of eBay to replace one of the ones I sold. Thank you again, Digimon Frontier, for making me think that I didn't like Digimon, therefore causing me to sell a whole bunch of Digimon merch. But this is kind of similar to Tamagotchi in that if I were, or other virtual pets, if I were to do a video on these, it would probably be like just a all-in-one type thing. Like I'd cover a bunch of them. I also don't have like all of them, by the way. I have the version 15th and version complete of the Digivice. I have the version 15th D3 as well as an original American D3. No D-Arc, no D-Scanner. I have these two, but they're virtual pets, as is this. I actually don't have a burst. I've been thinking about getting one, but probably not. Some of these are definitely like overlap because, yeah, twin, I got a twin. Don't have any of these. I got this guy, Digivice colon, the worst Digivice ever made. It's very pretty, at least. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a strong desire to do videos on those, so we will see if maybe I'll change my mind in the future. All right, and then the last thing that people were clamoring for was tips. So I wanted to call special attention to this playlist right here. I've had this playlist up for quite a while, which is just like welcome to V-Pets. So a bunch of videos that are very helpful for starting out with using Digimon virtual pets. So I have the what are they, the 20 most frequently asked questions, which if you've not watched that video, holy cow, I cannot recommend it enough. Not because I'm proud of it, but because they really are the most frequently asked questions. Like, seriously, if you're new to this and you don't know what you're doing, watch those. Those answer so many points of confusion that people have. Then there's that ACOM video I talked about, using it to unlock and stuff. And then which one you should buy, which of course at this point is vastly outdated. And that's something, a little bonus number 16. I do want to do a new what to buy video that very, very briefly goes over things. I did do a video recently at the end of the year, the state of modern Digimon V-Pets in 2021. And that video is kind of the sequel to this. So, you know, I should probably put that in this playlist, actually. I don't know, but I kind of would like to do another one, so we will see. Either way, so apologize. Haven't been paying close attention to chat because I didn't want to have to spend a long time on this because I get very easily distracted by chat. So if you have been chatting at me, I'm sorry for ignoring you. But it looks like you all are taking good care of yourselves, so excellent. Anyway, I will have a spot after the announcing the winner. If anyone wants to stay around and ask questions, I'll hang out for a minute to accept questions on either the channel or on just Digimon V-Pets in general. I know a lot of you probably have questions about the Vital Bracelet, for example. So if you do, obviously I will be happy to answer those questions, even if I've already answered them before. I have answered most of them before, I promise you. They do exist in one of my videos, but man, there's a lot of content in here, isn't there? So I understand if not everything gets caught. So let's move on, right? This is the part where what everyone's been waiting for, okay? So random comment picker. Where's my, there it is. So here's the thing, right? So I gave out 3 challenges at the beginning of the month, right? So first one, if we get 10,000 subscribers, giving away a Pendulum Z Nature Spirits right here. And the current subscriber count as of this exact moment in time is, oh, it actually just went up by 2. Holy cow. 10,446, which is massive. In the month of July, since I started this, I gained 774 subscribers, which according to YouTube here is more than usual. A lot more than usual. So it's unreal. Thank you so much. I am so glad that you all are here because I want to be able to share this ridiculous hobby with as many people as I possibly can. So love that you're all here. Now, thing is that I set out 2 other challenges, right? Neither one was met. And I get it. I understand. It was lofty goals. It's still, it's a very niche community and we can only do so much, right? So 11,000 subscribers was not met, but since you guys tried your absolute hardest to reach that point, I will also be giving away the Nightmare Soldiers C device tonight. So that is 2 devices going out to 2 different individuals who commented on the previous video. Now, that being said, don't go too crazy, because I'm not going too crazy here. This one is staying with me. The Digimon Pendulum version 20th, Silver Black, is not leaving this house until I get to the actual goal that I set for this. So that's 15,000 subscribers, but there's no longer a time limit on that. It's just whenever I get to that point, however long it takes, whenever I reach 15,000, this is going out there to one lucky winner. So there you go. Stay tuned for that, whenever that will be. So let's get to the actual winners, huh? So this one first, Nature Spirits. Who is the winner for the Nature Spirits? We have the Video URL all loaded in. We are filtering duplicate users. We are not including, well, yeah, we'll include replies, whatever, I don't care. Not specific text. Actually, no, I'm most of those replies. I don't want to get chosen. Don't include replies. It's exclude blacklist user. Yeah, okay, yeah. And 9 plus 3, 12. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and get the YouTube comments here. This is the pool. So step 1, get the pool. Let's count them all up. How many people do we have? 1,008 non-duplicate, non-reply comments. So you have a 1 in 1,008 chance of winning this. Here's the button. Let's do it. Nature Spirits Pendulum will go to Naxo789, whose comment was, man, I love your videos. I'd love to see you playing the new Digimon RPG online, and congrats on the 10K subs. What'd I tell you? People wanting the video games. There you go. So, Naxo, if you are in the chat, light it up. I don't know if you are or not. If not, I will be replying to your comment to reach out to you to get this to you. So, congratulations, Naxo. This device right here is all yours. Hope you enjoy it. If anyone sees them in chat, start shouting at me. All right. Second device to give away. Right here. Yeah, remove winner from list after draw. Okay. Now we're going to pick another winner for the Nightmare Soldiers Pendulum Z. And here we go. Tiamatic 0. I'd like to see a video. Oh my gosh, I'd like to see a video about the Magical Witches V-Pets. Me too. You kidding? That's a heavy ask right there. For those unaware, Magical Witches are a very rare, rather expensive virtual pet. And I don't know, I might try to pick one up at some point, but yeah, that's it's a very cool thing. They're basically confirmed at this point that Magical Witches is canon inside of Digimon, which is cool as heck. So very big congrats to Tiamatic 0 if you are here on the chat. If not, I will reply to you to get the details I need to send this Nightmare Soldiers device your way. So I'm going to write these down so I don't forget them, so I don't have to travel backwards in time through friggin' video to get them later. So Tiamatic 0 and Naxo, I think it was 789. If not, I'll figure it out. It's the only one that was on my channel, that's for sure. All right. Beautiful. So, congratulations to the both of you for winning the giveaway. For those of you that did not win, this Pendulum 20th that I have here, well, yes, you have to wait for 15,000 subscribers to get this. This will not be the only giveaway we have in the future. I do have more devices to give away. In fact, I, at this moment in time, have at least 3 to give away. So, they're not necessarily going to be as flashy as these. I'm going to warn you about that right now. But there will be more chances to win. I just got to figure out what horrors I want to put you through in order to get them. So that being the drawing part, I'm sure most of you were here for that, and most of you will probably now leave. But if you do have any questions you want to ask about anything Digimon V-Pet related, do feel free to do so at this time. I will actually start paying attention to chat at this point, and we'll actually answer questions. I'll happily take your Digivice : listen, I may not like it, but I've learned my lesson on giving things away that I didn't want. I did that with a Pendulum X as well, and that wasn't even Frontier's fault. I just kind of didn't like the Pendulum X when I was a teenager, and so I gave it to someone else. I'm like, here, you might like this, try it. And so years later, I'm like, well, I guess I got to rebuy a Pendulum X. So, yeah, I try not to do that anymore. And I recommend that Magic Dim card that comes with the storage, the one with Weezermon on it, yeah. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's got Ghostmon. Ghostmon's rad as heck. I like it. Yeah, I'd say it's a good dim. Let's see. And not a question. I just want to say you're such an asset. Thank you very much, Rotoloto. Appreciate the kind words. Just clearing his backlog of unopened. Listen, if this was my backlog, I'd be in a pretty good position. I did actually... I wish that I could say that I bought these Pen 20s back when they first came out, but afraid not. These were bought at current prices. So yeah. I'm going hard for you guys, I promise. How does Mamemon type with boxing gloves on? Deleted. Breadwitch, thank you for coming. Have a good one. I don't know what the heresy comment was towards. What's up with the Mission Hill characters? Exactly the same thing as what you just said. I love that show. Mission Hill is a fantastic show. I wish there was more of it. Good heavens, it was such a time capsule for what it was. And I watched it originally as a teenager. I rewatched it as an adult, and it meant a lot more to me. And I'm like, this is something else. There were a lot of good shows like that back in the day that just kept getting canceled, like cartoons for adults back before everyone decided, oh, if we want to make a cartoon for adults, we just have to make The Simpsons and Family Guy over and over and over again. Back then, there were like a bunch of original ideas. So if you haven't watched Mission Hill, or if you haven't watched Clone High, if you haven't watched Undergrads, those are all like phenomenal. But there's a bunch of random ones too that I wouldn't say are like worth checking out. Like, I don't know, you could probably skip the Oblongs. That one wasn't that great. Baby Blues wasn't that great, but there were a lot of good attempts out there, and I think those three I just named were probably some of the best around. Favorite V-Pet, the Digital Monster X2, specifically the version XC with Rosemon on it right now. I don't have this for Rosemon. I actually don't care about Rosemon X that much, but it has a lot of other Digimon that I really enjoy, including Triceramon X, Okuamon X, and Metal Greymon Virus X. All very, very good Digimon. What do you think about talking about the old D1 Grand Prix tournaments? So those of you that haven't read Toya's wonderful article about that, definitely do so. I think my hard part about doing that would be, if I were to try it, I'd feel like I would just be reading his article, and I don't want to do that. So if I were to ever do that, I would probably like try to get with Toya to actually have him joining me on the channel to talk about it. But we'll see. I've never done a collab before. Yeah, I don't know. I know him. I've got his contact info, so I can reach out to him if I ever choose to do so. But that would be my requirement for doing that. Are there any Digimon that aren't in a Digivice that you would like to see? Surprisingly, at this point, I don't think so. I say that, I guarantee there's at least one or two out there that haven't been, but most of the Digimon I like originated in Virtual Pets. And while I would want to see them on different Virtual Pets, there's usually at least one thing they're on. So, for example, up until recently, my answer would have been Musyamon. But Musyamon is now on the Vital Bracelet. And while that may not be my preferred place to use it, it's still something. So, but I would like to see it on a more traditional V-Pet. I think Musyamon's really cool. My favorite actual child stage Digimon is Kamemon. It's a turtle. I really love turtles. And I would love to see that on a V-Pet other than the IC. I have it on the IC. I've raised it several times in the IC. Love it. I'd love to see it on something else. I was really hoping it'd be on one of the Pendulum Zs, either Deep Savers or Metal Empire. But alas, it was on neither, unfortunately. So if I could see it appear on something else, that's probably my number one choice, to see Kamemon appear on another virtual pet. What do you think about comment for video idea, a discussion, for a dim discussion? I think that could be good. I've done a similar video. I've done speculation videos on dims before. It's just I probably wouldn't do it on a dim. If anything, here, I'll pull it up real quick. If I was to do a video on that, I'd probably just do a video going over my dream roster and talking about that, because that's more what I'm interested in. Dims are great and all, but I like full-fledged V-Pets, you know? So this is... There we are. So this is what I probably would more prefer talking about, is just like going through, like, here's my roster, and here's why I chose everyone, and there's Kamemon right there. He's freaking adorable. I love him. For those unaware, my favorite Digimon of all time is Zudomon, but people often assume it's like, oh, so your favorite route for that is probably Gomamon and Ikakumon, and I do like both of those. But no, I like Kamemon to Arkellamon to Zudomon. That's my number one favorite route, but I'm not picky when it comes to routing. I like Digimon going all over the place, so it's never just one thing for me. I like having multiple options. Let's go back to the winner. There we go. All right. Where did I put my chat? There it is. Will I do Tamagotchi Vlogs? Absolutely, that's inevitable. There will definitely be Tamagotchi showing up in the vlogs at some point, and I put it away already. I just got the Jurassic Park one. I might start that one up. We'll see. My favorite Tamagotchi are the connections, so it's more likely that I'll run those, honestly. Although, actually, hold on. Nope, I put that away too. Thomas Mart. would probably be my first one that I would include, because I did pick up a Thomas Smart. I'm going to be doing an unboxing of that on this channel, and yeah, that'll absolutely show up in the logs. What is my go-to pet you can get right now? X2 version, XC specifically. Always XC is my favorite. So when you say you can get, that's a bit tricky because you kind of can't at the moment. You can get the purple color at least on Amazon still, and if you're outside the US, there's a few places already selling it, but at some point in the very, very near future, we should see that widely sold on Amazon again and other sources. So that's my number one I would recommend above all else. But if you prefer the XD roster, I would equally recommend that. So basically, I just say look at XC, look at XD, pick which roster you like more, buy that one. That's my number one favorite virtual pet. I like Primeval Warriors better. I would like Primeval Warriors better if it was more bug focused. For being a bug dim, it definitely was lacking in that regard. Oh my gosh, there's so many chats and it keeps going to the top. Don't go to the top. Stay where I am. I need to figure out a way to not do that. Which line would you like to see in a V-Pet? That, what I just said. I know you asked that before I said that, but yeah, Kamemon, Arkellamon, Zudomon. I didn't say the last form though. Regalicusmon would be, I'll just leave this page up at this moment. So yeah, this guy to this guy to this guy to this beautiful creature. I also very much like Marine Angemon. Absolutely adore him. Jumbo Gamemon's pretty cool too. I mean, I like all of these. That's why they're on this list. I love all these Digimon. They're all freaking great. All fantastic, fantastic options. Wish Bandai would release like a core V-Pet Vital. I don't know what that means, but I hope they do. Just for you. Can you explain Jogress and the Vital Bracelet? Yeah, absolutely. Jogress is really easy. You have a Digimon, right? Is it an adult? Or is it a perfect? That's step one. Make sure it's one of those. Then get another adult or perfect, depending on what you have. Has to be the same stage, and it has to be a different attribute. Throw that Digimon in backup. Your Digimon will then evolve based on what attribute the Digimon in backup is after the normal time frame. So if your evolution is 24 hours away, then the evolution will check what's in backup after 24 hours, and it will evolve based on that. All the combinations are on the website. So if you head over to the Vital Bracelet section, go to the evolution guide, and click on any random Digimon, such as this beautiful Runnermon. Oh my gosh, it's my favorite song. You'll see, okay, so if you have a vaccine or free adult in backup while you are raising Runnermon, then when it checks its evolution, it will become Shootmon. And that's all there is to it. 0 to 100% of a chance we get an English Pendulum 20th. I'm going to say currently 15% is where we are at on that, and dwindling, unfortunately. If they had not released the Digital Monster X after the Digital Monster version 20th, that might be higher, but I don't know. It seems like they really want to get the full use out of that brick mold, and it's hard to imagine Pendulums coming over. Bandai has heard us talking. Keep talking. Whenever Bandai of America says anything about Digimon Virtual Pets, be courteous, but be like, hey, this is really awesome. I would also love to see the Digimon Pendulum version 20th. Let Bandai know that that's something you want. Email them. Do whatever you got to do. Let them know that that's something we would love to see in the community, because I tell you, these things need to be cheaper. What do the Penzies taste like? Do I have one nearby? Nothing. They taste like nothing. I'll clean that off later, I promise. Is there any online programs to make your own V-Pets? Well, there are plenty of software aids for programming. I wouldn't say there's any that I know of specifically tailored to virtual pets. You should check out DPet, which is, I think, is it DPet or DVPet or DMPet? I always forget which one is which, but there is a fan-made virtual pet app for Digimon where you can change out the roster how you like. And I think some other things are somewhat modifiable, but as for making a brand new one, I don't really think there's a framework out there for it. So they are very simple programs, though. Not that hard to create if you know what you are doing with programming. If you don't know what you're doing in programming, I'd say it's a fun first project. The way I learn everything I do is by having something I want to accomplish and then learning as I go. And that is the best way that I can recommend for most people to really get your hands into it. Like, don't wait to learn. Don't wait to figure it out. Just go. The internet is filled with information. And as you know what you want to do, you can find ways to do it. That's how this website came to be. I didn't know necessarily how to do a lot of this stuff. Like, you see these stupid vertical lines all over this page. I had no clue how to do that. And no one as far as I can tell, no one had ever attempted to do that before, because why would you? What on earth other purpose would vertical lines connecting from one point to another ever serve anyone except for someone making virtual pet charts? So eventually I found my answer and I'm like, got it. I found a formula that'll let me subtract this from this and automatically set this, and just using some jQuery, bam, got it. That was a beautiful 2 a.m. moment for me. It was when I finally got that done. So yeah, I think I think if you're looking for a framework, you might not find it, but just start by just picking a language and going at it. If you want to, I personally use web languages, so if I was to try making one, I'd probably start with JavaScript and PHP and go from there. But that's just because that's what I'm used to. For other people, there's even starting in something like Java would probably be real straightforward in as far as the syntax goes for making a VPET. I need someone to make an original VPET on Kickstarter. There's been a couple. There's been a few, some games, some devices. The one that comes to mind is, oh my gosh, the one from Spain. What's it called? It wasn't quite a conventional VPET. It's a big egg that you can stick in the freezer. I know that's going to mean nothing to most people, but so that's what I'm thinking of. So Old Dim's going to be able to work with B. Yes, they are going to work with the B, but not to their fullest extent. They will be somewhat gimped in the fact that they won't be able to raise their stats in the same way that you'll be able to raise stats on B memories. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. Any news on when the official Vital Bracelet B will be released? Yes, last video was all about that, actually. The one released on Monday evening. The 25th anniversary edition is coming out in November, and we can expect other ones to come out around the same time. We don't know prices for the other models of it, but the 25th anniversary just is the B. If you like the colors on that enough and you're willing to pay a little extra to get the artwork and the extra bands and all that, then that's a perfectly fine one to get and is available for pre-order right now. Current prices sound yikes. Yeah, not as bad as the Magical Witches, though. What is the biggest bang for your buck in VPETs right now? Same answer as, I'm just going to keep saying this. Digital Monster X version XC or XD, absolute best option. Absolutely. Now, there may be some of you that prefer to have a bigger roster, and if that's the case, Digital Monster 20th will serve that purpose just fine and is a perfectly wonderful option. So I'm not going to say don't get that. It's just I like the gameplay more on the Digital Monster X, and if you want to know why, I have a 40-minute video about that, because that is not something I can get fully into in a year. I know it's not exactly Digimon, but how do you feel about Kamen Rider and Ultraman VBs as pets? No feelings one way or the other. I'm not a follower of Kamen Rider or Ultraman. Nothing against them. I think in another life, I probably would really, really have gotten into Kamen Rider. I'd see a lot of Digimon fans into that. Ultraman, I don't see as many, but that's a classic series, and I definitely give props to that. So, but no, I don't have a strong affiliation with those properties, so no strong feelings. Mamemon or Metal Mamemon? Probably Metal Mamemon. I do like it. It's Wolverine claws. It's pretty dang cool. Getting other VPETs, but I was wondering, should I start with version 20s or X's? I kind of just answered that, I guess, but it's, I don't know. I would say the 20ths, see, the problem is both of them have some advanced features in them that the other doesn't. So in the version 20ths, the hardest thing to grasp on them is overfeeding, while on the X, the hardest thing to grasp is unlocking content and the whole leveling up system. So the X is a lot more varied in how you evolve, while the 20th is varied in what you evolve into. And I think they're both great starting points. I really do. Personally, I don't really care to raise the version 20th much anymore, and it's because of the way the gameplay is. So I might honestly recommend getting a version 20th first for some people if you're worried that it might not be for you, because that way you go up when you go to the X. Or if you like the roster a lot, that's kind of what it really comes down to, is just how many Digimon are on it. If that's your main, not that that's for everybody. If that's your main concern, version 20th. If your main concern is more interesting gameplay, get the X. That's the simplest I can put it. Your first one was a V, so the scrub. Nothing wrong with that. I think the V is a great introductory pet because it's very, 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 very low maintenance. And while it's not my cup of tea personally, for the most part, I think it's done wonders for helping more people get into the community. Even if you only stop at the Digivice V or the Vital Bracelet, it's still something. It's still fun. I just like people experiencing these things, whatever they are. Clone High was good. Agreed, Mayo. Agreed, Matthew. Which website had logs for the Vital Bracelet characters? I don't know what that means. So if you want to expand on what you mean by that. Oh, you mean, do you mean like keeping track of what you raised? Because that is something I do plan on doing at some point in the future. That's on my Trello board of improvements, and it just hasn't been implemented yet because currently working on a very big back-end improvement that will open the door for a lot of other improvements and faster site updates. So really focused on that right now, so nothing flashy like the router coming out at the moment. How dare you, the oblongs was fantastic. Do you really believe that, Vince? Do you really believe that? What was the other one? What was the one on MTV that I'm thinking of that the guys from Megas XLR did? What was it? Downtown. That one. I don't know if I call that one good, but it's super interesting to watch at least. Super pumped for Rareramon coming out. Heck yeah, Rareramon's great. Love it. Do you think Bandai would ever release the US Digivice 1 or D3? Nope, absolutely not. You may ask immediately, well, why is that? You may have noticed a pattern in everything that Bandai America has released, and it has all been stuff that was released in Japan a few years ago. And yeah, I think that's all they're going to do. I don't foresee them ever touching the American devices ever again, if they even have the original files. I don't know if they would. So no, I don't think that's ever happening. I already read that one. What's your favorite form of power-up mutations for Digimon X Digivolution Express? Blast evolutions from the XL, because freaking you gotta love Marine Angemon Blast mode. It's let's see which one of these. It's the 16x16 one. Oh no, it's on their root page. That's right. It'd be helpful if I knew Japanese. That one. If we go to here, they have one that says 24x24, I think. Oh, right there. I don't know how I missed that. But not that one. There we are. So if we look at these three sections here, blast forms for various Digimon, you'll notice right away we have a blast form for Zudomon and a blast form for Marine Angemon, both of which I am very into. I would love to see these actually get looked into again, because we did have Burst Evolution, which is based on Blast Evolution. Blast Evolution being from the XL, Digimon Savers being basically based on the XL too, but then they changed a lot of stuff and made their own Digivice to go with it, the IC. A lot of same concepts though. So that's where Burst Evolution came from, is this, and I really like that. I don't like it when Burst Evolution is its own additional form, like per se, as in like they evolve into it. I just like it as a mode change. So it's like, you know, Zudomon doesn't evolve into Zudomon Blast mode. It's just, that's a form he takes while attacking, is Zudomon Blast mode, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Clone High is getting a movie. It's been getting a movie for like the past ever. Is that actually going to happen? Because I'm here for it if it is. I know, what's their names? Phil, Lord and Miller, I think, are the names. I forget Miller's first name, but I know they've been getting a lot of attention because they've been doing nothing but great things in Hollywood. They did the Spider-Verse. They produced that. They produced Mitchells and the Machines. They produced Lego Movie. They have been like on top of their game. So if anyone has some room to request projects to work on, it's them, and hopefully they're requesting a lot of help with Clone High. I would love to see that happen. Rest in peace, Gandhi, by the way. Thoughts on Ghost Game? Pretty neat. I wouldn't say it's like a phenomenal series by any means, but for what it is, it's fun. It's a perfectly fun little series. I have no complaints with it. My biggest positive for it is that unlike every other Digimon show that has ever been, the Digimon that get introduced are there to be really featured. As in, they get a lot of attention to them about what they are and what they can do, as opposed to other Digimon series where it's like, that's a new Digimon, we better defeat it because it's going to fight us. And that's all it was. It was all about fighting. Ghost Game is basically the reference book made animated, which is pretty cool. Old Spellbound cartoon is pretty neat. You know, I've never watched that one. I definitely should. I do not know what Pet Plus Fantasy is. I know a lot of these questions were asked like 20 minutes ago, so I'm sorry if it's taking so long, but there's a lot of them here. What anime show would you like to see become a dim? So realistically speaking, we have to limit ourselves to Bandai properties, and obviously I was, freaking 10-year-old when Dragon Ball Z came out on Toonami or whatever. Was I, or would I have been a little bit older? I want to say that came out in like 98 or 99. Dragon Ball Z. I know it was on home video before that, but I didn't have it. I had one friend who had like random VHSs of anime, and that's where I saw my first anime that I'm aware of, if for the conventional meaning of anime, I should say. That's where I watched Sailor Moon with them. It was the first thing I saw, which I was immediately like, why is this so different? And it fascinated me, and I'm like, this is neat. And so Dragon Ball came out around the same time, I think, on tapes, but didn't hit like broadcast until several years later. So I remember watching it when I lived in Georgia, so that would have been late 90s, very, very early 2000s. But yeah, if I wanted to dim of something, it'd probably be that. It would probably be Dragon Ball Z. Not that I really care for the show a whole bunch anymore, but once you enjoy it, it's like that never leaves you. Like, yeah, I don't have to, like, there's still so many hype moments in the show. Sure, it's like super long and there's so much dead space, but if it's not one of the most hype shows in the world, I don't know. So I would love to see that personally. I don't keep up with anime in general, so I don't know what else there would be, and I don't know what else is specifically Bandai. Does Ghost in the Shell have relation to Bandai? I'd be all about a Ghost in the Shell thing. Standalone Complex is one of my favorites. But I'm pretty sure most of the other ones I watch have nothing to do with it, because like, I especially don't watch shonen. Sorry for those that do love your standard action anime, but it's not my thing anymore. My favorite one of all time is Yu Yu Hakusho, and that's it. That's right, even more than Dragon Ball Z, because I love the concept of Dragon Ball Z, but I love the show of Yu Yu Hakusho. And the U and the U and the Ha. And so on and so forth. Are there... Wait, where did I see that? Your cameo in the Digital Dream was spectacular. Thank you. That was a ton of fun. When Flurp first said that he was going to make a video for it, and I'm like, oh, you should have me like digging around in the trash in the background. And I'm like, wait, George Lucas, we're doing that right away. And so like a week and a half later, we met up and did that, and it was fun. Have I played Digimon Survive? Nope, I have it. It's ready to go, and it will be played on Saturday for 10 hours. So if you're interested, there'll be a nice long stream for that. Just got Chaos Dramon X on my DMX2. Now time to keel it over so I can keep completing my Digidex. That's what I'm on too, pretty much. I'm on that path. So Rosemon X I have right now. I'm waiting for it to die so I can continue. I have never once completed on the XC my album before. This will be my first time, because before I would always be doing testing on it and constantly resetting my data, and never could. So now that I have the English one, which can't be debugged, so there's not even the possibility of me using it for testing, I've been able to just focus on raising it, and I've been loving it. Running the XC now, got Monterey Mon chilling with me. Very nice, very nice. What did I think about the X2 mishap? From a consumer end, I think it's one of the most non-issues I have ever seen made into an issue. Like, it truly didn't actually matter, and that's how I feel about it. And honestly, for me, it worked out better because I like the blue on the XC better. Of course, I also opened this up and changed out a few parts anyway, but it was such a non-issue for me. I feel bad for Bandai, or feel really bad for whoever it was that messed up the programming in the device, but humans are humans. Humans make mistakes. That's all there is to it. I wish they had a little bit more QA going on it, but I'm sure that was a big problem with them. My biggest fear is I just hope that this doesn't make Bandai want to stay away from traditional V-Pets, because they are worried about the losses that they took on this. Hopefully the losses weren't too great. But yeah, I think it was just a thing that happened, and honestly, at this point, as far as the consumer side goes, I just look back and laugh, because it is funny. It really is. If you're here and not in the Discord, you're saying that to everyone else. Yes, if you aren't in the Discord server, definitely, it's right there on the screen, discord.gg/Digimon. Not that you're talking to me for a second. I'm like, I'm not going to jump off this to go into the Discord. I don't care what you guys are doing in there right now. Oh, man. Any Digimon you just think deserve new evolution? So I am firmly of the camp that Digimon don't deserve evolutions in the way that most people phrase it. Because when people say that, they're like, oh, well, I don't think that... what's a good example of one right now that doesn't have like Minotaur? Now Minotaurmon just kind of got one. Flip, I don't know. I can't think of anybody. Delamon. I'm going to say Delamon. So, like, some people may be like, oh, no, I want, like, a clear path for Delamon to follow. But For me, it's like the fun thing about Digimon is that they don't become something similar to them. They become something different and also interesting that can be thematically similar, but not necessarily the same thing. So, for example, they made Hydramon recently, right? And Hydramon is not a clear cut, this evolves from this. Like, yes, most people associate it with Teropiamon immediately after seeing it, but you could just as easily associate that with Ayatarmon. You can associate that with Blossomon. You can associate that with any number of plant Digimon, and it would work. And that's what I love. So that's what I want to see. I don't want to see evolutions for a Digimon. I want to see new Digimon that fill in gaps in themes. So, like the different fields out there, Deep Savers, Jungle Troopers, all that. They did this with the Deep Savers in a fantastic way because Regalicusmon, right? That came out. That was something that added some new ultimate stage to Deep Savers. There were 3 new perfect stages added, and all of those worked well with existing Digimon and new Digimon. And that's what I really, really enjoy is when they do things like that. So what I really don't like is when Digimon look exactly like each other. I've said it before, I've said it again. Zubamon is a really nice Digimon, and it has the worst evolutions of all time because it's just bigger and bigger and bigger Zubamon. There is nothing interesting about it whatsoever. Whereas if we look at Pomumon. Pomumon has other options that look great, but the one line that it came with, Pomumon to Parasarmon to Teropiamon, and now we could say to Hydramon, it looks fantastic, and it isn't just limited to just that one set. You could easily associate it with others, and I love that. And it makes the whole evolution line interesting. Oh, speaking of which, somebody actually did say Pomumon best evolution, best child level. It is very good. I love Pomumon dearly. That is why it made it onto my roster. Right here. He's a little cutie. Got him evolving a Tyrannomon and a Diatramon. Love Diatramon so much. It is fruit. It is wonderful little fruit. V-Pet, you want to have an American release in the future? Pen 20. That's it. Pen 20. If that's all they give me, I'll be happy. And again, that's not even for me. I already have 4 Pen 20s, but I want everyone to have a Pen 20 because they are so good. They are such good devices that should not be this hard to get. So easy. I want them to release a Pen 20 in English outside of Japan. Do I know anything about the getting your Vital Brace set up? So cool, not on wrist. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that question. You might be talking about the Vital Pet. I think that's what you're talking about. You probably saw this in my one of my logs right here, the Vital Pet. So this is a mod from Vincent Veek, Cyanic, and Heat. They did this together as a Kickstarter. If you just type in Vital Pet Kickstarter, you should find plenty of information about it. And it's a pretty snazzy little device. It's pretty neat. I have been testing out some stuff for them for the past little bit here on it, and I'll have more to say about it in the future once everything's at a good spot for it. So it's pretty neat. I like it. I definitely like the colors on it, obviously. Veek was very kind to let me choose what colors I would get, and I obviously chose the 2-tone light blue and dark blue that I so dearly love. Don't skip down. Get back up there, gosh dang it. Sometimes I scroll and it's just like, oh, you need to jump down to the bottom. And I'm like, no, I don't need to jump down to the bottom. In fact, I should probably just copy all of these things. And then, oh my gosh, you guys have typed so much. How do you still have so many things to say? Okay, I think, there we go. That's where I was. New dims for Vital Hero are the same as the Vital Bracelet, because yes, exactly the same. The version 1, 2, and 3 volume dims are the same. Wolf Howl and Dinosaur Roar are new dims, so they are their own thing that have modified rosters. So those are not the same things, but Pulse City and the 3 volume sets, exactly the same. You don't need to worry about getting Japanese or English, or you don't need to worry about picking up the English ones if you already have the Japanese ones. Jay Great, I know you're not here anymore, but I will say thank you for joining. Sorry you had to go. Am I from America? Yes, my whole life. I live in Florida. I live in South Florida. It's nice and warm and full of turtles, and that is why I like it here. I cannot live anywhere else in the world because nowhere else in the world has enough turtles. That's all there is to it. As far as I know, Agumon and Gabumon are the only dims that are different. Yep, okay, so you're answering another question. Purple is under 18. I don't know that. I think you're helping out somebody else that I missed, so thank you for that. Get the purple from Amazon. Blue just started shipping. I don't know what you guys are talking about. If you ever played the Mega Man Bet Toy, surprisingly not. No, I have not. I know that's a bit of a popular one as of late. A lot of people like the pet. I know a few prominent people in the servers that have played with one, but hasn't been something I've been particularly interested in picking up. At this point, it's probably too late because it's probably too expensive. But yeah, I haven't tried it out myself, but it does look very, very cool. What game V-Pet has the most Digi and Evo trees? If we're talking about games, I believe that would be Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory. I forget how many are in there, but it is quite a sizable number. If we're talking about V-Pets, that's the Pen 20. If you get just the Pen 20 on its own, without modding it, it has between 120 and 130 Digimon you can raise on it. If you do mod it, then you have 240 Digimon that you can raise on that one device. And therefore, I always recommend modding it because it's very cool. Now, truth be told, if they did ever release it outside of Japan, that ability to mod it would definitely be taken away. They took away all of their mods for the Digital Monster and Digital Monster version 20th and Digital Monster X, so they'd do the same for the Pen 20 if it released. But at that point, each one would probably be $20 and wouldn't matter. You wouldn't need to worry about modding it anymore. But yeah, Pen 20 has the most of any V-Pet, hands down. Now, you could argue that the Vital Bracelet does because of all the dim cards, but that's because of all the dim cards. So however you want to look at that, technically you can raise more Digimon on the Vital Bracelet than on any other device, but you have to get all the dim cards. So if you're going to make a video dedicated to the battling system used by V-Pets, I'd like to share my theory about hit mechanics so your numbers don't always make sense. When you say my numbers, you're talking about the formula I use in my doc. Because if so, yeah, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Definitely ping me in the... what channel would be best for that? Probably modding. Ping me in the modding channel of the Digitama Hatchery server, and if you have stuff you'd like to share, I'm always willing to listen. The formula we're using is based on a lot of trial and error research, mostly done by Nextstream, who did a fantastic job of that, I must say, and really got us to more closely understand what's happening when the battles occur. So, yeah, if you've got details on that, feel free to share. Oh, thank you for whitelisting ad block on my website. That's very kind of you. I think more Strange Evolutions lines fit me better. I love them. I think it's funny because most people are willing to accept Strange Evolution lines when they are presented them to begin with. Because, obviously from the anime, Patamon to Angemon, that doesn't really make sense, but it works. People like it. Same with Digimon World 3. You had in that game Koemon to Hookmon to Assaultmon to Canondramon, and I'm told that, I'm like, yeah, that's a perfectly sensible evolution line. Why wouldn't it be? Even though they look nothing alike. But it's like, I don't know, that's just what I'm told, and it makes sense. Like, it just does. Same with Numemon, Nemonzemon, all that stuff. So you're saying I should go into every unrelated comment section and spam Pendulum V-Pets. On tweets would probably be your best bet for that. Tweets and Instagram, but just nicely. How has Survive if you played it? Haven't played it yet. Playing it Saturday. I think you've probably already heard me, but yeah. Dang, I'm not really that far back. You guys really are talking a lot. Holy cow. DV-Pet. Yeah, it's probably DV-Pet. Okay. Need a video guide and jogger data for the D-Cyber. Is there a guide for the D-Cyber? No, I think I want to say it was someone in the Malaysian community that recently did one for the Pendulum X, but I don't remember if they did one for the D-Cyber as well. I haven't actually run mine yet, so I can't even help you, but I think it should be mostly similar to the Pendulum X in operation, as far as I understand. Can you imagine a game that was an older style V-Pet as an app? It would tell you if they poop. A lot of people have had that idea of apps for V-Pets. I will say, despite it sounding great, they don't always work as well as normal virtual pets as far as your drive to use them goes. Like, having the little device seems to make a lot of difference for people like me. So I have tried app V-Pets before, and they just don't often hold my attention very well, unfortunately. But maybe no one's made the right one yet. That's not true. People have made some really good ones out there. It's just not for me. DV-Pet is Java-based too. Makes sense. A lot of people would do projects like that in Java. Running a glow-in-the-dark 20th. Very nice, very nice. You've unlocked some hazy memories from that V-Pet fridge egg. Which are you talking like from the short? Digimon Roll 1 is $7.99, so it's almost 1,000. I don't know what that's related to. Sorry, again, I'm going back on these from so long ago. I don't know the context for some of these comments anymore. I think the Pendulum Z's are pretty great too. Yeah, I think the Z's are great. I think the rosters on them are the best feature. I think as far as gameplay goes, The X is a little bit more fun. They're identical in actual function, but there's some things that the X does that I like more, which is basically the branching evolutions and unlocking evolutions as you go through quest mode. Pendulum Z doesn't have that. Pendulum Z also really screws up the final forms, the super ultimates, and adds way too much Agumon and Gabumon bias in there. So, yeah, I think they're... I love my Deep Savers one very, very much because of the roster, but I wish it was a little bit different. Got the full set of X first version. Very nice, very nice. Oh, you guys are talking about the purple DMX. Duh, I don't know why I didn't think about that. I don't know about Digimans, but I'm here to boost the algorithm. Well, oh my gosh, it's Ben. Hey, Ben. Holy crap, didn't expect to see you here. I don't know if you're still here, but thanks for joining. For those that don't know, Aramgard was my he was the editor-in-chief back at Gamnesia. One of them? I don't know. He was one of the big wigs over at Gamnesia, and he's the one that first got myself, Hombre de Mundo, and Tess and Nicola to go over and start streaming with them. And we had a good time, a lot of fun. Love them very much. All dear, wonderful people. So I miss doing that kind of stuff, but it was unfortunately time to move on. I didn't leave because they got absorbed by Destructoid. I left before that because that's about the time that some of my other stuff, my personal projects, were starting to get big, and so unfortunately I had to leave Gamnesia and move on to other things. But it was a great time while it lasted. Boop, boop. Just went for the X, because X antibodies are great. Did I miss the announcement? Yes, the announcement was a long time ago. The winners were Tiamatic 0 and Nuxo 789. What is my least hated humanoid Digimon? Flirp with the good questions. Depends on how far you mean humanoid, because like even though Angemon and Devimon are the shapes of humans, they still very much are like monsters to me. Like I would consider angels and demons to be monsters. So if we're classifying them in that range, then one of those two, most likely. Or if we want to go really crazy and claim that Pumpmon is a humanoid Digimon or Regalicusmon is a humanoid Digimon, then, well, Regalicusmon, of course. He's kind of humanoid, right? A little bit. But, yeah, I would say one of those most likely. Oh, you know, actually, Shawujinmon pretty much fits the bill, right? Like, no, he's pretty monstrous. He's got, it's not like he's a dude in a hat. It's like, he just is a weird kappa, so... Yeah, most of these are bestial, aren't they? Should I go on a different slide? I've had this one up for forever. I don't know. I don't know what else to put on screen right now. I'm just talking. I really want Seraphimon Blast Mode to return. Absolutely. So you want Digimon Mega Evolutions. Other way around, Blast Evolution came out in freaking 2004 with the Excels. So, listen, I know you're just ribbing. I like the Excel, but I wish I had more. I do very much love the Excel. I also do wish it was better in some ways. Absolutely. So maybe someday I'll be able to get that wish, even if I'm the one that has to do it. We've got the idea with the transfer data cord that's been made for V-Pets. Would love for you to fulfill it. The great thing about the online project is that basically anyone who wants to get involved can. Just got to ask permission to use the stuff behind it, and you're good to go. They already did their first table read for Clone High, huh? Okay. I did see the teaser in Spider-Verse. Well, I guess I didn't register it as a teaser. I just registered it as an inside joke, but that's good to know. So it is proceeding in some way. Happy to hear it. Do you see Bandai releasing the X-Series in America? Yes, I definitely see them releasing the X-Series in America. Where you asked me before, I would have said they would probably come out either the end of this year or the beginning of next year. But now with the X2 debacle and the fact that we have the Wave 4 DM20s that came out, I kind of see that pushed back to the middle of next year. Hope not. If sooner, great. But I wouldn't expect it till like June at the earliest, personally. So we shall see. But I do expect them to keep doing it. Thank you for making Route Generator. You're very welcome. I'll put that as the next slide, right? Because I am very happy with how this turned out, the random Route Generator. If you haven't seen it yet, if you're ever wondering, like, I don't know what to raise, then, yeah, just come here. Be told what to raise, and you will be able to raise it. And if you don't have all the devices, no worries, because you just click on the ones that you do have, and you're good to go. What's my second favorite Pen Z? Wind Guardians. I very much have always liked the Wind Guardians roster because of the birds. And yeah, some people might have expected me to say Nature Spirits, which that's my third favorite for sure. But Teropiamon just, that's it. Like, you put Teropiamon in the device and I immediately fall in love with it. Teropiamon is such a good design. I am very very pleased with most of the Digimon Pendulum Z designs that came out. They're great. My only thing I'm not pleased with is that the Nightmare Soldiers didn't get a stage 5. That's my one thing, because every other one got one or more stage 5s except for that. So that's a bummer. But Ghostmon's very cool, so it kind of makes up for it in that way. And it goes the same with the original. I do like the original Nature Spirits a lot too. At this point, I probably would say I like, for the original Pendulum, Nature Spirits is probably my favorite one, after Deep Savers and then Wind Guardians. But I never bought Nature Spirits as a kid. I bought I was a teenager. I bought Deep Savers and Wind Guardians, and those were the only ones I had for a while, because I really liked the rosters and colors of those devices specifically. Oh yeah, Kuwabara fans. You can't not love Kuwabara. It's just not possible at all. It's freaking, he's just the best. Also, there's a live-action Yu Yu Hakusho coming out, and I don't know how I feel about it. Character designs are already a little for me. Like, obviously they can't do straight up just make them look like the anime, but I don't know. We'll see what I think of it. Just got Omegamon X and Diablomon X. Very nice, very nice. You lost Jasmine X before it was turned into that. Good stuff, good stuff. Got Alphamon on Digimon X. Also nice. Just want to say thanks. You're very welcome, David. Appreciate it. I agree completely with the Team Evo's thing. Okay, good. Oh, man, I really am still so far behind. I'm never going to catch up with all you people. Good gravy. What I want most is some Digimon that are non-Beetles for Ultimate level. So I was about to, react to that before realizing that you're right. All of the Ultimate level bugs are Beetles. I can't argue that, except for Bancho Stingmon, I guess. But no, Grand Kuwagamon, Tyrant Kabuterimon, and Heracles Kabuterimon. It's all right there in the name. Kuwaga, Kabu, Beetles. So it's, yeah, we definitely need more bug ones. Bloom Lordmon is about the closest thing we got right now, even though that's more plant than bug, I would say, as far as the most recent new ones. But I would love to see more bugs in general, more different types of bugs, because we don't have a lot of data attribute bugs. We don't have a lot of ultimate stage ones. We got plenty of adult bugs. We are covered on those for the moment, but perfects, we need a few more. Ultimates, we definitely need a good amount more. It doesn't help that the bugs are generally lumped in with either Nature Spirits or Jungle Troopers, one of which also focuses on just grassland and mineral Digimon. The other one focuses on plant Digimon as well. So anytime you put them into one of those devices, you only fill up half of it's only filled up half with bugs. So yeah, that's part of why I think they don't have the proper number. Monsters looking the same as they evolve is one of the things I think that are so boring about Pokemon. Yeah, I think I guess I wouldn't necessarily call it boring for Pokemon, but it's not meant for everything. Pokemon does what it does well, and Digimon does what it does well. Keep them separate. A stage magician vibe, that would be neat. Jokermon would probably be a good one to involve with that. Version 20th, that I just have to raise one Digimon. Well, remember, you can raise only one. You don't have to hatch both. When the egg pops up, just leave it there and you don't have to run it. So if you like the 20ths but don't want to raise two, you do have the option. I understand, though, that it is probably but it's there. Why wouldn't I touch it? I can't just help myself. I get that. I totally get that. Oh, dang, we got someone from Miami in here. Nice. I know a few people down that way. Wetlands for the win. That's right. I've got some beautiful wetlands down south of me that I like to visit, that a lot of bird watchers go to, because there are a ton of birds, a lot of wood storks especially, cormorants, aningas, all that good stuff. And then you always see an alligator or two at that place, and there's plenty of turtles, plenty of fish, everything I like to look at. I love creatures so much of the wetland variety. My pond has many turtles. Good. As it should be. Every pond should have many turtles. You can get a new progress pet for 80. That's pretty good. You swim in that pond. Goodness, I can't swim in my ponds. For obvious reasons of me living in Florida. No one swims in ponds or lakes around here. Yeah, my X2s from Amazon got canceled too. I actually imported mine from Australia, so still waiting on that to be resolved. I can't wait for it. There'll be a nice big ping on the Hatchery server when they finally do go up for wide distribution again. 341 counting the NX Digimon. So yeah, Hacker's Memory probably would definitely take it for the video game side of things. Love to make a brief story about Digimon Pendulum Cycle and the evasive Neo. I do have a Neo. I actually haven't opened my Neo, but I do have it. I do plan. One of my brief history of V-Pets videos is going to be all about the non-Japanese devices, specifically V-Pets. And while the Neo is not a V-Pet, it will make at least a cameo in that video for sure. But that's going to focus on the Cycle and on the D-Cyber are the two main ones that I want to talk about there. I would love to talk about the V6. I'm not buying a V6. Why is Wendemon the best Digimon? Because it loves Smash Mouth, obviously. Do I recommend to buy the Vital Hero or Japanese Vital Bracelet V? It honestly comes down to price. I think the two devices are pretty similar. The only major difference between them is the wrist strap, right? So if you want to make sure you have a nice big wrist strap, then get the Vital Hero. But if that's not a concern and you can find the Digivice V for a total cheaper than the Vital Hero, then that might be worth it for you, especially if you want to get like the Gamamon card, which isn't out in the United States yet, and you can get that packed in with it. But if you'd like one of the Agumon or Gabumon Dims, if you are a big fan of those Digimon, then in that case, go with the Vital Hero. Yeah, I would agree. The form factor is a good amount of the novelty with V-Pets for sure. Still waiting on the tournament I was toying with. Which one? I've got so many tournaments that I toy with. But, no, really, which one? Was it the online tournament? Because I do need to get on one of those. I haven't done one of those in a minute. Regalica Spawn, a.k.a. Scrimp. Where did my music just go? Did I just turn off my volume? There it is. Okay. What device V-Pet do you think has the most content for the money? Again, the content is subjective. If content means for you the most Digimon, then the easiest one to get your hands on is the Digital Monster version 20th. If the gameplay is what you were more focused on and want something that's more interactive and interesting to play, then the Digital Monster X is the one to go with. Digimon World Championship on the DS. Yep, I definitely need to try that one. That'll be one of the ones I will look at some point in the future. So you want Digimon to have some sort of temporary evolution. We can call it Digivolution. Use a special... Listen, you. Don't you start with me. Did you play Digimon 5? Not yet. Gonna play it on this weekend. Yeah, just like Arthur said there. We'll be playing it this weekend. And then, if people haven't noticed yet, yes, the winner has already been announced. I guess I'll put that back up on the stream, yeah. There were two winners. One of them is right there, Timematic 0. The other one was Noxo 789, I believe it was. So yeah, winners have been announced and will be sent lovely V-Pets. Personally, I'd love to have the X3 announced soon. Me too. I like the thumbnails. Yes. I like to do, you may have noticed, when I do silhouettes, I like to choose silhouettes from random obscure places. I don't know if you've watched the Wormmon video or not. I'm going to put it up just to see if anyone can actually name who this guy is. So can I, let's just get the YouTube thumbnail. I could go to my studio and get it because, it's mine, obviously, but here we go. If anyone could tell me who that guy is, I'll be legit impressed. Some people did already on the comments, but yeah. I enjoy using silhouettes from random things that have nothing to do with Digimon, just to see who can recognize them. Mission Hill is probably an easier one than this, obviously, but yeah. Is a chat going on Discord? Like, as in, is there chat going on? Maybe. Probably. Usually people talking. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate the kind words. It's been good. It has been a good ride to get here. That is for sure. The H stand for human growth. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Turn out you're talking about in O-Town. The heck is O-Town? Oh, you mean online? We spell online with a 0, so it didn't immediately register. But yes, my problem with online tournaments is that the whole time zone thing really gets in the way. So the next time we do one, I want to do a live one. And scheduling one of those and doing the logistics behind it is difficult, and I have so many other things to do. So that's why I've not done it yet. I apologize. I do still want to do it. I will still do it, but yes, it's got to be worked on. Doesn't want version 28th, raising Greymon and Angemon. Very nice, very nice. I already have Japanese X2s, so that's why I wanted the English other X2s models. They'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get those eventually. I'll also put my 20th at the greatest variety in minigames and fighting. I think the difference between tag battle or tag training and single training is pretty great. I do enjoy that it's got 2 different games on it. That would be one thing that the X would benefit from. I just think the way quest mode works on the X is overall more interesting for me. That's what I really like about it. Wheels, thanks for coming. I'll see you later. Oh, now we got the guesses. Scrooge McDuck. Nope. not Noble Pumpmon. Not Darkwing Duck. It is no ducks. It's a different hat. That's right. Valkyra, thank you for joining. Enjoy your sleep. Goodbye to Germany. Danke, I should say then. 84 minutes late. That's all right, Fire. You're just in time to figure out. Oh, you're talking about the meetup. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing with that. It's the problem is that yes, that was like all ready to go like at the beginning of the year. Like I was all in it, but people had concerns about traveling for COVID, and now I had to put it off, and I might still do it sometime in the near future. My preferred time to do it would be January, because that's like after stuff quiets down everywhere. Orlando's usually pretty easy to get around in at that time of year. So, and it's nice and cool in Florida, so people don't melt because not everyone's used to this heat that we have down here. So hopefully that can be the case. I would love to be able to do a meetup in January. So stay tuned. If we can, we will. It's just, I think at this point, people are more comfortable with the idea of traveling, and people will be more receptive to it. I think if I had done it last year, that people would have been too hesitant for it. William, good night, good night. If you mix X-Quest and 20th Fighting, yeah, that would be great. What am I in time to figure out? Oh, sorry, I didn't finish. The guy on the thumbnail here. I had to cheat for this, but it's Flip. Never knew about this guy before. That's right, it is Flip, and I did catch up. I'm finally caught up. Yes. So yes, this is Flip from the animated film Little Nemo's Adventures in Slumberland, which is technically, I believe, my actual first anime. I mentioned earlier that Sailor Moon was basically my first anime, which it still is. It's still my first conventional one, but Little Nemo was technically made in Japan, but an animated movie. So, like, you know, not an anime series. That's where I guess I would differentiate it. And I wouldn't have registered it as being an anime, really, especially as a kid. Like, to me, it was just a really cool movie. I adored that movie as a kid. Like, absolutely adored it. I watched it all the friggin' time. So Flip's here because of that. Flip, the green clown guy who gets Nemo into all sorts of mischief and trouble and almost kills everyone in the world. Yeah. That was it's a blast. If you haven't seen Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland, I highly recommend it. It's you're not gonna watch it and be like, oh wow, that was the best movie I've ever seen. You're not, but it's just an interesting piece of media to watch, because a lot of people, that era of anime movies, it's like you have the Miyazaki films and then Akira, and that's all anyone ever talks about. This is another really good one that's worth a shot to look at. I'd say this is, it might be blasphemous for me to say it's up there with some Miyazaki films, but I'd say it's up there with those. Like, not in terms of overall quality, but in terms of enjoyment and what I get out of it. It's got the whimsy to it. It's got a lot of good going on it. So, like, if you like something like Totoro, you would probably really like this. It's there's no deep meanings or anything like a lot of Miyazaki films have, but it's a blast. It's a fun little movie. I should get the Gach Monita thingy. I don't remember what it's fully called, but yeah, I'm probably not going to get that. I have a hard time buying anything Cross Wars. I had to work up all my effort to actually buy a Cross Wars Mini. Never bought a crossloader. Not ever doing a video on a crossloader. Sorry, everybody. But yeah. That we're caught up. When are we forming a group in Discord to stage our hostile takeover of Bandai? At some point soon, for sure. Definitely. If you're in the U.S. and have Prime, Nemo's available here. There you go. Beautiful. You can watch Little Nemo on Prime. But yeah, it's a fun little film. So, okay, I'm actually caught up. That's going to be it. Thank you so much for all those questions. Holy cow, that was a lot of questions. Did not expect that many. It was fun. I do enjoy answering questions from people. So to give you an update on the next weeks or so, so we should be seeing more information about the Vital Bracelet B as far as the base model and the dual V options. So obviously we already had the 25th anniversary model all up for pre-order and all that. The other ones, we should see more details on that very soon. I will have a video on that within a few days of all that information coming out. So stay tuned for that. Once we know more, I will tell you more. This weekend, again, streaming for 10 hours, Digimon Survive. Spoilers for the first 10 hours of the game. If you haven't played that far, maybe, it might not be for you. But yeah, me and Flurp will be doing that all dang day. It'll be a great time. And other than that, I'll just be doing more vlogs, I'll be working on additional content based on all these things up there. All those beautiful list items will be somehow manifested into videos, except for number 5. Again, I'm not doing card game videos because it's just better people out there for that than me. It's all there is to it. So, Flurp, don't act like you didn't know. This is where I find out that it's actually just going to be a 2-hour stream, isn't it? But yes. All right. So that is it for tonight. I will talk to the rest of you later. And yeah, until next time, bye.